ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्। अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। So let's read the three verses. How many verses we have completed? Four. Fourth we are not yet completed, but let's read those four verses only. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. उद्धरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादयेत् आत्मैव ह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फलहेतुर्भूः
मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो माम् ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्। यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्. This we said as what? Which buddhi is this? Ishwararpana buddhi. In this, if you see, yajjuhoshi, that has to do with yajna. Dadasi, yad dadasi, that has to do with dana. Yat tapasyasi, that has to do with tapas. Yajna, dana, tapa. You remember in 18th chapter? Yajna dana tapa karma natyajyam karyameva tat Yajno Danam Tapashaiva Pavanani Manishina. Remember the discussion what we had there? So you must look at the 18th chapter there. Also, when we studied these verses of the 18th chapter, this verse of the 18th chapter, we referred also to the 17th chapter, where Yajna was divided to be threefold. What was the threefold? Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. Same way, Dana also was divided to be threefold. Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. And Tapas also was divided to threefold. Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. So here it refers to the Satvika Yajna, Satvika Dana and Satvika Tapa. And Tapas also we saw, Tapas also, even though it is Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika, Tapas has this division also of Shariram, Vangmayam, Manasam. Remember those discussions? I'm not repeating again. You must refer to those thoughts which we discussed there. Can you tell me one example for Shariram Tapaha? Deva Dvijaguru Prajna Pujanam Shaucha Marjavam. Cleanliness is a tapas, Shariram tapas. Brahmacharya Mahimsa cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So these are all sadhanas. So tapas is a broad word for all sadhanas. Now, coming to Vangmayam tapa. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva Vangmayam tapa uchyate. Satyam is Vangmayam tapas. Swadhyaya, daily chanting of the Shastras, Veda, or you may have Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, or even the Japa, Nama Japa, or the Bhagavad Gita Pata. You are all blessed because you have studied the second chapter, you have studied the 15th chapter, you have studied the 18th chapter, now you are studying the Gita Panchamritam. So every day chanting this. This also is tapas. You know Rudram, Sri Rudram, Purusha Suktam, Narayana Suktam. Keep learning more and more. There's no end to what you can learn. Or even if you do not know how to chant, Pujya Swami Brahmanandji's Gita chanting is there. Those lovely divine voice. Just put it on, close your eyes and listen. Chanting will come automatically. Vangmayam tapa. And what is Manasam tapaha? Mana prasada saumyatvam Maunamatma vinigraha Bhava samshuddhirityetat Tapo manasamuchyate. Bhava samshuddhi, purity of intentions. Absence of mental chatter, maunam. Ability to say no to the senses, to the mind. Self-control, atma vinigraha. So all these are manasam tapa. Okay? And what is Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika? In Satvika, you don't do it for results. You do it because it has to be done. In Rajasika, you do it for results. In Tamasika, you don't do it or you do it wrongly. Right? I think we have discussed that in that context, therefore, let's not go more into this, but please refer to that. And thus, very clearly, Bhagavan Shri Krishna has brought these important sadhanas also here. Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpana. Then from that we went on to the next verse, beautiful verse. Ananya shintayanto maam, yejana paryupasate. So from this verse onwards, we enter into the section of what Bhagavan will do. The first three, what I have to do from the individual standpoint. Now from the standpoint of the Lord. But of course, what Bhagavan does also, what Bhagavan does when this way, then I do this way. When and then is here. But Bhagavan is not very strict with this, really. Bhagavan has said, Aranya shintayanto maam, ejana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamya. As we saw yesterday, Ananyaha, those whose minds take refuge nowhere else. Ananya Sharanagati is there. In Bhagavan alone, they have surrendered. Fully they have surrendered. And they are in such a state of mind, where they don't even ask anything from Bhagavan. When we think Sharanagati means what? Asking only from Bhagavan. But they have come to such a state that they are so much immersed in Bhagavan, in the Lord. And for that immersion, two things are required. What is required? Matchitta, matpara. Both are required. One has to do with the heart, another has to do with the head. Matchitta has to do with love. Matpara has to do with altar of devotion. Sometimes we may have a high altar of devotion, but our mind may be stuck in some lower things. Sadhakas, all of them say, I want the real knowledge. But where is the mind? Mind is in Laddu. Example I'm telling. Mind is in Kamini Kanchana Kirti only. But goal is very high. Matpara is, goal is Lord. Here mat means me. And me here refers to Lord. Matparaha. Bhagavan says, those who have me as their highest. Matpara. Matchitta, those who have me as their love. So those whose hearts are with me and those whose intellects are with me. Matchitta, matpara. When that matchitta and matpara become perfect, 100%. Both of them become 100%. Very easily you can have matparaha, but very difficult to get matchittaha. In this world also we find many people with many paraha. Some of them dhana paraha. Their goal is only wealth. Some of them kirti paraha. Their goal is only name and fame. I want to get a good name. Everybody should tell I am great. And I always keep telling myself I am great. So different paraha are there. Now these are Bhagavat paraha. Sometimes you will find Bhagavat paraha, sometimes you will find Tat paraha, sometimes you will find Mat paraha, all mean the same. Tat is that Lord. Mat is when Bhagavan says, then it becomes Mat paraha. Right? So that Matchittaha and Matparaha, when they come to that highest pinnacle, comes to the acme, comes to that largest, highest extent possible, then such a person, how is that person? Immersed in the Lord. That's called immersion. And when we say Lord, please understand that the comprehension of the Lord keep changes according to our sadhana. The initial level of comprehension, the highest level of comprehension. Okay? What is initial level of comprehension? The initial level of comprehension is Bhagavan with particular form. That is the initial level. I see Bhagavan in a form only. Otherwise, I can't see. Either in my altar, I have my Laddu Gopal, my Bhagavan. And I talk to that Laddu Gopal. Very mischievous fellow you are. Huh? Whenever I put some ornament, you put it down. Huh? You're feeling very cold today? Oh, yesterday night I put on the fan and went to sleep. I didn't see. Must have got very cold for you. And let me get for you some nice shawl. How is your pillow? Your pillow is good? This Chandan is from Guruvayur, you know. Got from Guruvayur Chandan. See the fragrance, how it is. You're immersed daily, you know. Now, if you have a limited understanding of Bhagavan to a particular form, or you go to a temple and you have an idea, this Lord Shiva is Bhagavan. Nowhere else you can see that. Worship of the Lord this way is not wrong, please remember. This is also a stage. Murti Puja, they say. And we do it. It is a sadhana. Archanam, Vandanam, all these we have. And great bhaktas who have evolved also may have Murti Puja, but their understanding is not limited to that. You should not think anybody who is doing Murti Puja हो तो lower हो गया ना. No, ऐसा नहीं है. Our Gurudev also used to go, whenever he used to come to Sandipani, he would go and offer namaskar to Bhagavan Jagadishwara. Don't you think he knows the whole world is Bhagavan only? But if a bhakta has, he's a bhakta only. If a bhakta has a limited understanding of the Lord, limited understanding, Saguna and Sarupa. Bhagavan with a certain guna and Bhagavan with a certain rupa. That is what. Now, going a little more further, Bhagavan has no rupa. Arupa Bhagavan. But Saguna. Bhagavan is Sarvagnya. Bhagavan is Sarva Kalyana Guna. All Kalyana, all the noble virtues are there in Bhagavan. Kalyana Gunopeta. Sarva Kalyana Gunopeta is Bhagavan. Sarva Shakti. He is the one who is controlling this whole cosmos. Earlier, Saguna and Sarupa. Now, Arupa, but Saguna. This is also, okay, I'm just giving the major, because there are many kinds of, ways of conceptualization of Bhagavan can be there in a bhakta. And whatever concept you have, Bhagavan accommodates that form and he is there for you in that way. That's Bhagavan's greatness. Yayata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Whatever way you conceive of Bhagavan, Bhagavan says, I am available for you that way. So this level is what? This stage, or you can say this way of considering Bhagavan is what? Bhagavan is Saguna, but no Rupa. When you say Bhagavan is no Rupa, it means what? Bhagavan is Sarva Rupa. Meaning you can't limit Bhagavan to one particular form. Bhagavan is everything. These mountains are Bhagavan. These trees are Bhagavan. This earth is Bhagavan. So like that, the conceptualization of God transcends a particular form. Okay? So when Arupa does not mean no Rupa. Arupa means Sarva Rupa. You have to understand that. So from the limited form, you have gone now to unlimited. And the final one is what? Bhagavan is Nirguna and Arupa. The final one. So whatever be one's stature of devotion, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, whatever be the stature of devotion, but what Bhagavan says, Ananya should be there. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. So Ananya means what? Anya, other. Ananya, mind is not going anywhere. Mind is convergent on Bhagavan. How did it become like this? It just became like that. Devotion advanced. From that Karma Yoga, devotion started moving forward. And we saw the various levels there, right? First is what? Karma Yoga. Then after Karma Yoga, what came? Mat Karma. Correct? And after Mat Karma, what came? Abhyasa Yoga. And through Abhyasa Yoga, what happened finally? Mat Chitta, Mat Para happened. So thus, when the mind evolves in the devotion, then comes that ultimate devotion. And what is that devotion? Whatever be the conceptualization of the Lord that Bhakta has at that point of time, according to his own maturity or her own maturity, it doesn't matter. Bhagavan says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. If they fulfill this criterion, what is the criterion? Their thoughts, their mind, their heart does not go anywhere. For them, God alone is a supreme. And their love is for God and God alone. Mind goes to places where it likes, or where it dislikes. But here, they have transcended all likes and dislikes. And for them, their love is only the Lord. All saints, if you take, they have this characteristic. A saintly person has this characteristics of mind immersed in the Lord. Whoever that saint be, whether the saint is of the path of Saguna or of the path of Nirguna, it does not matter. But they all fulfill this condition. A saint fulfills this condition. What? Ananyaha. And thus, since, mind will have to think. Just as our eyes will have to see. Right? You open the eyes, it will see. You cannot say, I have eyes but it doesn't see. That means you're blind, that means. But eyes, functioning eyes, what the functioning eyes will do? The functioning eyes will have to see. The functioning mind will have to think. It can't be helped. And therefore, Chintayantaha Mam. With no otherness, they are thinking. Now, this no otherness they are thinking has also different levels. With no otherness, the highest form of thinking about me with no otherness is that Nirguna Nirakara. Akara and Rupa mean the same. So Nirguna Nirakara. In Nirguna Nirakara, what happens? If you have an Akara, then Bhagavan also is for you an Akara. In Nirguna Nirakara, what happens? You have dissolved the Akara of yourself. And in dissolving the Akara of yourself, you have also no Akara of Bhagavan. There is only one Ekameva Advitiyam. This is the highest. So here Ananya, you see there? No otherness. No otherness. No otherness means what? No differentiation between me and the Lord. Like how a wave is one with the ocean. Like how a bubble is one with the ocean. The wave loses its sense of, or the bubble loses its sense of differentiation, limitation. Like that, a bhakta has immersed. Now, this we call it as para-bhakti, highest bhakti. So, highest bhakti is what? Highest bhakti is the awareness of who the Lord is, and that is the awareness of the Lord as a self. That is the highest bhakti. Or even otherwise, Ananyaha is what? As we have discussed, Ananya is having that full love, immersion in the Lord. Whatever be the conceptualization of the Lord that you have. With form, without form, all form, whatever it may be. So Bhagavan says, Ananyaha chintayanto ma ejana paryupasate. Those bhaktas, those bhakta jana who are thus worshipping me thus, tesham, for them, nitya abhiyuktanam. Because of their ananya, because of their machitta and matpara, how is it for them? Nitya abhiyukta, ever united with me. Ever united with me. As Naradji in the Narada Bhakti Sutra, tadarpita akila acharata. Everything is offered unto the Lord only. Anything they do, it is Bhagavan only. Nothing other than Bhagavan they can ever think. Very famously it is said, a gopi is trying to meditate. You must have heard about that. Gopi is trying to meditate. Naraji is surprised. Gopi meditating, I have never heard of it. Gopi meditating. So Naraji is asking, hey, Gopi, what are you meditating? He said that Krishna is creating a lot of trouble for me. I am trying to take him out of my head. The meditation is, all the tapasvis, all the yogins are trying to remember Bhagavan and meditate on Bhagavan. This Gopi is trying to non-meditate on Bhagavan. It becomes very difficult. He is always troubling me. He is ever there. Wherever I look, he is there. I stop looking, I close my eyes, he is still there. Horrible he is. He is not allowing me to do any work. The mind has become immersed in the Lord. Very rare. Sant Mirabai, or in the south you have the Andal, the various Nayanmars, Alvars, or here in Maharashtra, you have the various, the bhaktas so well known, Sant Jnaneshwar, Tukaram, Namadev, all those. In all of them you will find this Ananya Bhakti is there. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam. Now these who are so much immersed in me that they have no idea what they require also. They're so much immersed in me that they don't even think this is required for them or that is required for the family or this should be done, that should be done. Oh. What does Bhagavan say there? Yogakshemam vahamyam. I will take care of their yogakshema. There's a nice story about this. Yogakshemam vahamyam. This word vahami we use for servants. Or we use for animals which bear weights. Vahati. A donkey or something. This vahami is a very right. It actually means lifting a weight or lifting a load and carrying it somewhere and delivering. That is what it means. So it is used for beasts of burden or a menial servant who does this kind of work, a laborer. This vahami is used. Because we are not so well acquainted probably in Sanskrit. When we read vahamyaham, we read very, very happily. But this is to say Bhagavan is a slave. This is to say Bhagavan is a servant. This is to say Bhagavan is a beast of burden. Because in such context only the word vahami, vahati is used. So yogakshemam vahamyam means what? It literally means Bhagavan manually carries their yogakshema and delivers. So when a great, I think, if I remember the name well, Jagannatha Mishra, I think. He was a great, Jagannatha Mishra, if I remember well. So he was writing commentary on the Mahabharata. And in Mahabharata only you have the Bhagavad Gita. So this verse, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam, he was commenting on that. He did not like this word at all. He said, what is this? So in those days, they write on those palm leaf or parchment, that kind of thing they write. So up to this Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshem, up to Yogakshemam we completed. Vahamyaham he came. He didn't like that word. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. That's right. For Bhagavan Krishna, how to use the word Vahamyam? So with that, that scribe, with that stylus, what he had, he scratched that word. On top of it, he wrote Dadamyam. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Dadamyam. Fits it. It's not correct. This word Vahami should not be used for Sri Krishna. And then, the banks of, Puri, Jagannatha Mishra. So he said, now let me go and take bath and come back. Right? So there, the river, not river, the sea is there, Samudra. Well, let me go take bath and come, and then I will continue from here. Home situation is very difficult. Nothing is there at home. The lady does not know what to cook. Nothing is there. No rice, no dal, no oil, no vegetables. Nothing is there. And this Mahatma is writing commentary on Mahabharata. Sometimes the family goes through such trouble because of these saints, I tell you. Very, very difficult times. These bhaktas, Babre, how much they trouble their family. The wife did not know what to do. She's a very noble lady. Some saints have got wives who scold them left and right. Right? But she is a very different person. She sits there and cries there. What to do? And he is gone and he'll come back again. And she has to give something. Not that he is going to ask anything to eat. But she has to do something. She has really no idea. Just crying. She has reached the limit of what she can do. Little bit here and there she managed. Now She goes there, picks up something, sees that fruit, this, that, something she brings, some green she brings, something she does. Every day she's managing. But this Baba is sitting and writing Mahabharata commentary. And inside Mahabharata is going on for us food. So it is said that when he had gone to take a bath, one small cute fellow, okay, with a big load, is a small fellow, small boy, cute boy, but with a disproportionate kind of load. Disproportionate. He is tottering under the weight of that load. And somehow he comes, says, Ma, Ma, shouting. And lady comes out and says, Hare, my son, why are you bringing such a heavy load? Put it down, I cannot put it down, please help me. She rushes and then takes the load and brings it down. And what is this? Your husband, Babre, I can't tell what kind of man he is. He made me bring such a big weight and inside everything is there. Right? Not just for, a week or a month. Plenty. And this boy is brought. And he looks carefully, the face and all, blood is coming everywhere. Scratched everywhere, face. Who has done this? Such a cute, who has done? He's so hungry. What to do? Your husband only did that. Got so wild. She who has never uttered a word against her husband said, look, what happened to him? Dull he has become. Shouted like that. She said, Amma, don't shout like this, He's a good man only. Okay, please take it inside. Wait. She takes inside and comes out, this fellow is not there. And our Jagannatha Mishra, after bath he comes. This time food is not ready. Scolding is ready for him. You dullard, you lack of compassion. Is that the way you do? Making a small boy bring such a big load and then beating him up and scratching him. What did you do to him? So he just says, what? Says, what load? What are you talking? What do you mean? As though you do nothing about it. Come, see. Oh, whole place was filled with all varieties of food. Suddenly he thinks, tell me again about that boy. Very cute. What a beautiful divine face. What eyes. What lips. Adaram maduram vadanam maduram nayanam maduram. She keeps on describing the beauty. Oh, what a beauty. She has become poet now. He is a poet. But she's a poet now, describing. And then at every line she says, but you bet that fellow. He just keeps on asking, how did he bring? Tell me, how did he bring? Carrying the load and bringing. Really? And then he goes and then says, you know who has come? I said, it cannot be vahamyaham, dadamyaham. Dadamyaham, give. Send through somebody gives. Vahamyaham. So he goes and sees, oh. So it is not dadamyaham. It is what? Vahamyaham. Bhagavan himself bears and brings. So he understood. Now these are all true stories, okay? These are all people who have saints not of too long ago, sometimes you may say Draupadi called, that is all old time. We never know. I mean, so old. Dhruva. It doesn't matter what your conception of Bhagavan is. If you have Ananyaha, Bhagavan doesn't look at your perfection. Ananyas chintayanto ma ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhayuktanam yogakshemam vahamya. We saw what is yoga and what is kshema. What is yoga? Yoga is apraptasya prapanam. And kshema is praptasya rakshan. Bhagavan says, I take care. But Bhagavan is not telling the truth here, okay? What do you mean? Yoga kshema Bhagavan is promising. But even if you are not Ananyaha, he does it. Kya kare? Even if somebody is not Ananya, if somebody really wants, Bhagavan jumps to take care. There is one more interesting story. Arjuna thought that he was a great bhakta. Okay? Of course, Arjuna is a great bhakta. Bhagavan Shri Krishna. See, Bhagavan does not mind any weakness. But only one weakness Bhagavan does not like, and that is ego. Doesn't like. Ishvarasya abhimana dveshitva. Bhagavan does not like this ego. So Arjuna got this ego, I am a great bhakta. So Bhagavan said, this ego I don't like in him, I have to take it off. So he told Arjuna, let's go for a walk. And as we are going for a walk, Bhagavan said, I'm feeling thirsty. Arjuna said, that's okay, I'll go get it some. Where will I get it in this place? You go there, you see there, one hut is there now. You see. There my great bhakta is there. Arjuna said, I am great bhakta. Who is the great bhakta? you go. And he went there, that place, that hut somewhere. And there he found one tapaswini sitting there. But interesting tapaswini. In front of her, she has put a sword like this. So he went there, and then Mataji did namaskar and all. And he said, can you give some water? Of course I will give you. She went inside to take the water. Mataji, what is this? You're tapasvi? Yeah, I'm tapaswini. Yeah. But what is this sword you kept here? Oh, I'm waiting to kill two people when I meet them. Mataji, who are they? One is that scoundrel Arjuna. And another is that selfish Draupadi. Both of them shocking for. Arjuna asked, Mataji, but why you want to kill Arjuna? That fellow, he had a problem. He should fight the war. Why did he make my Krishna a charioteer? Huh? And made him his servant? And every day my Krishna has to wash the horses, and you will take the chariot in the middle of this and this. What does he think himself? So that Arjuna I am going to. Okay, ma. Now, what about Draupadi? But Draupadi, Bhagavan, my Bhagavan was eating food there in Dwarka, and somebody there removing the dress. So, what is the problem? Oh, okay. What is there? Under the dress, everybody is naked only. How? Kya? She disturbed my Bhagavan and called him Draupadi. Did namaskar to the tapaswini and took the water and went. And he went to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Today I found the greatest bhakta, Bhagavan. Now, why I am telling all these things is that when totally that selflessness is there, it is not that Bhagavan takes care of one only when that selflessness is there, absolute. Bhagavan rushes to take care even when we want something. And that's why, Ananya Shintayanto Mam, definitely Bhagavan takes care. But even otherwise, Bhagavan is so compassionate. Even though it looks as though conditions apply, he does not fulfill all conditions. He says, oh, my bhakta wants me, I will go. Ananya or not, doesn't matter. That is Bhagavan's greatness. You all would have experienced in your life also how in so many situations when you felt everything is lost, nothing can be done. Suddenly you find an unexpected shower of grace, some blessing from somewhere, and all difficulties are resolved, right? All of us also have felt, is it not? Please remember, Bhagavan is there to take care. Ananya Shintayanto Ma Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktana Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. That is why in the chapter 7, this is chapter 9, Ananya Shintayanto Ma. Chapter 9, verse 22. We also saw some references from chapter 12. In chapter 7, Bhagavan speaks of his bhaktas as fourfold. Artaha, Jignasu, Artarthi, Jnani. So, Artha is one who turns to Bhagavan in times of sorrow and affliction. Artarthi is one who turns to Bhagavan for a certain need he wants to fulfill. Artarthi, Artha means wealth, Artha means possessions, Artha means objects. So, one who seeks that, Artharthi. Jignasu is one who seeks Bhagavan for gaining more and more knowledge of Bhagavan, more and more knowledge of the Lord. And the Jnani is one who is ever immersed in the Lord. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, all of them are my bhaktas. And Ananyaha, in the example of, usually they give such examples. For example, Artharthi. They give example of Dhruva. Right? You all know the story of Dhruva to some extent. Dhruva went to do tapas. His mother guided to go, So, Artharthi. Artha, when one turns to Bhagavan for afflictions, to solve one from afflictions, they give example of Draupadi. Or they give also the example of Gajendra. These are all some stories which I'm sure you have some idea. Bhagavata stories they are. Gajendra. Artha, Jignasu, Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, one who turns to Bhagavan for knowledge. Here, for example, Arjuna, Jignasu. And for Jnani, the example they give is Prahladji. Prahlada, Ambarisha. They're all great examples. Now, sometimes we give examples, Draupadi, she's Artha, but it is not perfectly she is Artha. Why? Because they love Bhagavan always. Okay? But in a way, Artha, because suddenly it became Ananya for them at that point of time. When she found that all her husbands, so powerful beings, Bhima, oh, he himself can destroy the whole palace. Arjuna, Yudhishthira, all of them, they are standing powerless there. And all the elders who are supposed to be the great protectors of Dharma, you have Vidura, you have Bhishma, all of them are standing there, not able to help. And then when she understood that the only refuge for me, Ananya again coming, you see, the only refuge for me is the Lord. And then Govinda, when she calls, Bhagavan rushes. So that Artha is also Ananya in a way. In the sense, at the time when that support, that blessing, that Lord being the Savior, and only the Lord can protect me. And in that way, the mind becomes so, if you want to use the word, so fixated upon the Lord. Ananyaha chintayanto mam, ejana paryupasate. And even her own self-effort she dropped. Holding on somehow with her effort. But even that, Ananya chintayanto mam, ejana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. I take care. So this is Bhagavan's promise. That Yogakshemam Vahamyam. And from the highest standpoint, Yogakshema, we have seen Yogakshema from the standpoint of material requirements. From the highest standpoint, Yogakshema, Yoga is gaining that knowledge and Kshema is abiding in the knowledge. Bhagavan says, I take care of their knowledge also, I take care. What do you mean knowledge? We saw, no? One level is what Bhagavan is what? Saguna and Sarupa. The next level, what did we say? Bhagavan is Saguna Arupa. And the final level is what? Nirguna Arupa or Nirguna Nirakara. Bhagavan says, even that knowledge I bless them with. And that Bhagavan says, I bless them with even if they don't want. You have the classic case of Sant Namadeva. In the Maharashtra literature, you have Sant Namadeva. Sant Namadeva did not want any kind of knowledge and all those things. He was very happy with his Panduranga. He would just speak to Panduranga like a friend it was. Panduranga was like friend for him. And he would speak and Panduranga would speak and then. But of course, his understanding of Bhagavan Panduranga is that Murti. But he was so filled with that devotion. So in your estimation, he would be lower. But Ananya he is. Totally. For him, that Bhagavan Panduranga is everything. And it is said that, there was a assemblage of saints in which he also had gone there. It's a very famous story. And then, they were saying, Ghora Kumbha is there. He's a maker of pots. He's also a saint. So Ghora Kumbha. And some discussion happened in that, all Bhagavan's Leela only. Which of the pots is well baked? Let us check out. And each of these saints, they said, we can check it out, not a problem. And Ghora Kumbha, his way of checking out whether the pot is baked is with a stick. The stick, he taps the pot, and depending on the sound, he decides whether it is baked or not. So all the saints who had come for food, bhiksha there, each one of them will show their head. And then he taps for them, well baked. Namadeva felt insulted. Who is this fellow? He is now checking whether we are baked and all nonsense. And then he said, I'm going. This is an insult. And he went off. So all the saints, they so Bhagavan's Leela only, you see. So he goes to Panduranga and then says, you know what is happening and this and that. And then they are telling me I am not well cooked, I am not well baked, I have not got the knowledge of you. What do they know about how I know you? And then he keeps telling this and that. And Panduranga also like a friend, I'm so sorry to know that you had always Leela only. I'm so sorry to know. And how, they should not have, that is not done that. He also joined with him. Then finally he said, but whatever you are saying, you are never telling what they did is wrong, You tell me, am I fully baked or not? Panduranga said, why are you not answering me? Tell me. Panduranga said, you are not baked, sorry. What? I am talking to you, you are talking to me, and then you say, I still have not got that knowledge, that realization. Yes. He got so angry with Panduranga. Don't be angry with me. I will tell you how to gain that knowledge. And then Panduranga gave him some place to go. So you go to that temple, that Shiva Mandir. Shiva Mandir? I will not go. No, you go there. There one Mahatma is there. His name is Vishobha Kechar. Some name is there. Have I pronounced the name right? Vishobha Kechar. You go there. So finally he goes searching, and finally finds this Mahatma, Vishobha Kechar. But how is he? He has put his leg on the Shivalinga. What Mahatma is this fellow? Putting leg on Bhagavan Shivalinga. They say, old man, take your leg off. This is not the way. You put your leg on Lord Shiva, put it down. I say, I am too old. I can't lift my leg. You put the leg wherever you want. Everywhere I see only Shiva. What? Everywhere you see Shiva? Pulled his leg and pulled it down. And he pulled it down, from there a Shivalinga. And the leg went on Shivalinga. So everywhere he removes the leg and then puts, and then everywhere Shivalinga. And finally he did not know where to put the leg. And he put the leg on his own head. And suddenly he sees everything is Lord only. And that Lord whom he thought is Panduranga, that Panduranga is none other than Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is none other than Panduranga. And everywhere is that Yacchakinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Shruyate Piva Antarbahisha Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthita. Suddenly he finds. And he gains that realization. Now interesting thing happened, he did not go back to Panduranga. Now Panduranga got worried. What is this? My friend has not come. So somehow Panduranga catches Namadeva. Hey, chalo, come. But you are everywhere. That is okay. But you come. We are friends. You see? So the Yogakshema at the highest level is Bhagavan bestows the knowledge and Bhagavan protects the knowledge. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktana yogakshemam vahamyam. You can be a artha, you can be a artharthi, you can be a jigyasu. Whatever it may be, Bhagavan will ensure you become a jnani. That is Yogakshemam Vahamyaham from the highest. Bhagavan will ensure that you have that knowledge and Bhagavan will ensure that we abide in that knowledge. Okay. And our LIC has taken out this. No? Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Let's read the 3 verses that we have completed, 4 verses we have completed so far. So first verse, what is the first verse? Uddharet. What is the second verse? Karmanyevadhikaraste. What is the next verse? Yat karoshi yadashnasi. And what is the next verse? Ananyashitayanto. So in the first verse, you have to do what? Uddharet. Second verse, what you have to do? You give off your attachment to the results. The third verse, what you have to do? Do all your actions as worship to the Lord. Up to this. Then progress, that Karma Yoga is also a devotion only. But from that Karma Yoga, you progress on to the higher levels of devotion, whereby you become Ananyaha. And then to such a person who is Ananya, what does Bhagavan say? Bhagavan says, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Comprehensively, what is Yogakshema? Also we have seen. One pertains to the realm of the world. Another pertains to the realm of knowledge. Yogakshema. Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. I will bear for them. I will bear for them means what? I'll personally do for them. I am the sevaka of my bhakta. That's the point. We all say, Bhagavan, I am your bhakta. The moment you say to Bhagavan, I am your bhakta, Bhagavan will tell, I am your bhakta. Changes. Then there's a competition only between bhakta being bhakta and Bhagavan being bhakta. Endless competition. Bhagavan is always better than you, you know. So he does which more better. And it's okay. If Bhagavan wins over us, how does it matter? That is what finally we want, na? Bhagavan gives himself to us. Whatever your concept of Bhagavan, it doesn't matter. Bhagavan gives himself to you. Yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyam. The manner one approaches me, that very manner I support that person. That's Bhagavan's greatness. And knowledge and devotion are not different. Some people think that I have knowledge, that means I cannot be a bhakta. Your bhakti will be different, that's all. Do not misunderstand that you don't have devotion. Your devotion may be slightly different, that's all. But that is also devotion. Anyone who is walking the path cannot but be a devotee. But when you look at the Lord through the heart, That becomes devotion. That's all. And blessed are those who can have that heart also fully evolved and the intellect also fully evolved. And in all great saints, you'll find this combination perfect. All okay. Let's chant the verse and conclude. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanamavasadaye Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhuhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha Karmanyevadhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana Ma Karma Phalaheturbhuhu Ma Te Sangosva Karmani Yat Karoshi Yadashnasi Yat Juhoshi Dadasi Yat Yat Tapasyasi Kaunteya Tat Kurushva Madarpanam Ananyascintayanto Mam Ye Janah Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktana Yogakshemam Vahamyaham Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarvapapebhyaha Mokshayishyami Ma Suchaha Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om